I run out of.
Even when Ravyn Lenae is playing it pretty safe, she's far from just your average pre-packaged commercial R&B singer.
Gonna tell you.
What was I so sad about? This woman is singing so damn beautifully. Flip my life for a second. I want to hear more of this.
Listen to the conversation the other day.
This is Ravyn Lenae Washington, a 23-year-old R&B singer from Chicago, Illinois, and she's the hidden gem of R&B. I first discovered Ravyn Lenae in 2018 after being featured on a song with Steve Lacy called 4-Leaf Clover. Since then, I've been trying to spell Ravyn the right way on Apple Music every time I wanted to listen to her futuristic-sounding classic R&B with songs like Moon Shoes. She had music for when I wanted to listen to poetic lyricism and vibey love ballads with songs like Computer Love. She even had me covered if I wanted to listen to spacey feel-good music and have it be the soundtrack for my day with songs like Satellites, Sticky, Skin Tight. Ravyn Lenae is admirably versatile for music, all for complete unique sound to most R&B you would hear in 2016 with her EPs Moon Shoes and Midnight Moonlight, in 2018 with her Crush EP, and even now with her first studio album, Hypnos. But what makes her music stand out so distinctly from the rest, and why is she so underrated? Let's find out in this deep dive into Ravyn Lenae. Now, I wanted to find the word underrated. When I say Ravyn Lenae is underrated, I'm not saying nobody's heard of her or that she's some type of undiscovered underground artist. When I mention Ravyn Lenae to people, usually 1/3 of the time they'll know who I'm talking about. And Ravyn Lenae has a pretty sizable fan base on Spotify with 1.6 million monthly listeners. So what I'm saying is that she deserves to be a part of the larger conversation when it comes to women in R&B, but we'll get back to that later. When you listen to her music, it's no question that Ravyn Lenae has her own unique style and taste with her approach to R&B. She accredits a lot of that to working with other artists like Smino, Steve Lacy, and No Name.
A part of music is being in the same room with other musicians. Like that is 99% of it, because you feed off each other's energy and you just bounce ideas off each other.
At 17 years old, Lenae joined forces with producer Monty Brooker and rapper Smino to create the core group of Chicago's Zero Fatigue. With the backing and encouragement from Zero Fatigue and the supportive Chicago music scene, she dropped her first single, Greetings.
I thought the first thing you say when you walk my way is hello, maybe. No,
she also seemed to garner a lot of her inspiration and sound from some of the most revered in R&B. Listening to it a little closer, you can hear the subtle influences of artists like Minnie Riperton, Denise Williams, and Erykah Badu.
N.O. says she reminds me of a modern Minnie Riperton. I get that a lot, and that is a compliment for me because I'm so inspired by Minnie. I listen to her all the time. I think her, Shaka Khan, Denise Williams really have the essence that I try to evoke in my music, so that's a big compliment for me.
Lenae's first EP, Moon Shoes, released in 2015 independently, then released under Atlantic Records in 2016. In a year like 2016, where you have genre-pushing albums like Blonde from Frank Ocean, Lemonade from Beyonce, and A Seat at the Table from Solange, it's pretty impressive how her music was able to stand out at a time like that. Even though it may not have been the most recognized in the moment, Lenae having to compete against R&B giants still let the world know who she was. With abstract sounds and ambiguous robotic production by Monty Brooker, added some poetry-like lyrics and delicate wordplay with Ravyn Lenae, Moon Shoes set the foundation for her music career. In 2017, Midnight Moonlight was released, Lenae's follow-up EP to Moon Shoes. She doubled down on her unique sounds of spacey atmospheric production from Moon Shoes and complemented it effortlessly with her beautiful harmonizing.
I'm really into establishing that connection with the producer, so I do like being in the studio with them just so we can feed off each other, you know? Yeah. It's one thing to send a beat, okay, I hear it, but it's not the same as being and I also like to be a part of the production process, so I can bounce ideas off you. I can say, oh, put this here, put that there, just so that I'm involved in some way, you know? Absolutely. I'm just not a singer. I'm a musician, so I like to be in that aspect of
on this EP, Lenae really flexed her classic and soothing voice with songs like Spice, sounding straight out of a poetry book of neo-soul lullabies. Tracks like Genesis and Thirst just make you feel like you're vibing out with aliens in their spaceship and they just lit the blunt. Smoking on that alien pack. That's so stupid. Crush is probably Ravyn Lenae's most recognized body of work to date, and a lot of people's introduction to the neo-soul singer, with her lead single Sticky and her duet with Steve Lacy, 4-Leaf Clover, being the main attractions. Released in 2018, this EP was very notable because she really leaned into her collaborative spirits a little bit more, co-writing and producing the project with songwriter and producer Steve Lacy. The result of this project birthed the iconic duo of Ravyn Lenae and Steve Lacy, the duo that people seem to not get enough of.
I swear when Ravyn and Steve Lacy work together, you know it's gonna be straight up crack. A lot of people say that too. I love working with Steve. I feel like he is my musical brother. We think exactly the same about music and our approaches are very similar, so he's somebody I really trust.
Sticky, the lead single, caught the attention of so many people because of the catchy start to the song. What did you do?
But what the hell, boy?
Admittedly, I had no idea she was saying "what did you do" until making this video. Anyways, Ravyn Lenae really stepped out of her comfort zone with this project when it came to co-writing, because as an artist, she never felt comfortable enough of anyone else's judgment to put it in her music.
The most aha moment that we had was maybe when I wrote the Night song, and I was trying to figure out one of these lines in the hook. I say, head down, feeling alright, and I'm like, what's the next line? And he's like, got my edges on tight, and I'm like, okay. I said, you sing it. He's like, no, you sing it. I'm like, no, you sing it. He's like, no, I'm gonna be embarrassed. So I think it was so funny to hear, you know, that coming from a male voice.
In 2022, Ravyn Lenae finally released her first studio album, Hypnos. While not as unique and individualistic as her previous EPs, Hypnos is still a beautiful, well put together 16-track album. Her harmonizing and singing abilities age like wine, only getting better with time, and it's very apparent on this album. The project features artists like Smino, Mariba, and Steve Lacy, and they're all well placed in the album. It seems that she thought very carefully about who was where and why on the album. While personally I would love to see Lenae experiment more with the sounds that got us to where she is today, I respect the growth as an artist that she needs to blossom.
SZA is, you know, a mainstream artist now, but her being a singer really helped me kind of investigate my performing abilities and things I may need to change, or, you know, so seeing her show every night really kind of put me in the place of a student. I'm like, okay, this girl's flipping on stage, doing backflips and splits and jumps, and still, you know, remaining vocally up here. A lot of times I remember watching the show like, I'll be there soon, and she was once in this position. We've had several conversations about, you know, just staying true to who I am and remembering that every artist was here, you know, and had to go through these stages of being an opener.
It's not 2018 anymore. Ravyn Lenae isn't that new upcoming artist from Chicago with a couple EPs under her belt. She set a strong foundation of what she's capable of, and personally, I think she needs to be included in the conversation of artists like SZA, Ari Lennox, Kalani, and Summer Walker, to name a few. Sure, she may be newer to the scene than some of these artists. Sure, she may need to grow in music some ways, but Ravyn Lenae is only getting better with time, and I don't think her contribution to R&B is recognized enough. With her discography as expansive and versatile as Ravyn Lenae's, I know it's only a matter of time before she becomes something of a mainstream artist. She's a clear example of staying true to your craft and growing a fan base the authentic way, through growing her artistry alongside other artists, through staying humble with herself and confident in her music, and through understanding that you need to be a student of the game before you become a master. Ravyn Lenae paves a clear path for other upcoming artists to do the same. Personally, I can't wait to see the next bricks that are paved in our way to the top of R&B. I can't wait to see what artists she will inspire to follow up after her. And I can't wait for the world to discover the hidden gem of R&B, Ravyn Lenae.